Welcome, my name is Alex.
Good evening, good afternoon.
And welcome to a weekly fantasy video on FPL Jinx channel. This is where I'm gonna be talking about my previous selection. I took a minus 12 points hit, and I didn't really even perform that bad. And also gonna be talking about the transfers that probably could be a little bit overhyped and whether you should be yielding to the pressure of everyone who is bringing in Colt Palmer and other popular assets in fantasy. Let's talk about my team though. This is where I took a minus 12 points hit. And the players that I yeeted out of my team, well, you could also twist it and say that my early wildcard was a little bit unsuccessful, which required a massive surgery for my team. But the transfers were as following, so I had 3 free transfers. And then I used, then I took some hits and I got a little bit more new players. So I took out Verbruggen, and I realized that Brighton defense is not really a good choice to get on the wild card. And they scored some points for me in one of the games, but that was a rather easy fixture. I obviously expected something more, so I got rid of Verbruggen and I got rid of Dunk from my team, who I think in total scored like 1 or 0 points, just because there were some minus points for the goals conceded. Then Dean scored like 1 point, Isak and Joao Pedro didn't play, and Eza scored like 1. And in total I calculated, so it's around like 2 points that these 6 players scored for me. I got rid of them and got instead, with the price rises, I got Raya, Saliba and Gabriel tripling up on Arsenal defense, and it instantly backfired, which is... it is what it is. And then I got Calvert-Lewin, Wood and Semenyo, players that all blanked, but except for Semenyo. And in fact, Semenyo covered that points deficit because I took that hit. Yeah, if my calculations are not failing me, I'm net positive, or 0 points. So yeah, I mean, you can do the calculations, but I think I didn't lose much. But the thinking is, of course, to have good Arsenal selection of players and free up more space in the middle, where I am not going with template Saka, although he's always on corners. He's very active, but we can actually take a look at the player map for that Arsenal versus Leicester game, where he got the all 3 bonus points, and he created so much. I think he created like 8 chances, and that's where he got the bonus points for. And he definitely didn't assist or score a goal, which everyone expected him to be active there. But if you take a look at the heat map of Bukayo Saka, this is where people are getting a little bit worried, because it's not necessarily on the edge of the box where he is getting into scoring positions. He's also drifting a lot to the right side, which I wouldn't say that it's scary, but in a game against Leicester, I would expect him to play a little bit more advanced. And this is where you obviously can say that this is where he played in a 4-4-2 formation as a right midfielder, and Havertz and Trossard were playing as strikers. Obviously, Saka is still a fantastic player. As you can see, his score is the best out of all players. But this is where I also like to check my biases and check whether I'm influenced by other people when I'm selecting a player. And this is where I think I would probably still double down on my omission of Saka for these 2 very good fixtures for Arsenal, and still would say that my selection of triple Arsenal defense, albeit expensive, can pay off for the next at least 2 fixtures. Obviously, then there is a little bit more trickier fixtures, Liverpool and Newcastle away. These are the games where they can concede. But look, I missed out on Arsenal players, and my wildcard was actually a big mistake, because I took out Gabriel and I took out Saka from my team so that I can accommodate Salah. Just because by that time I already took a -4 hit, and I thought I would rather just get rid of players who are not playing for me, and those were Hall, those were Barco, like these fringe players that I actually really thought that they will be playing. And then I slightly revamped my team. I got Rodgers in and I got Luis Diaz, who instantly hold for me the next game week. And that's where I think, that's where I think it kind of paid off a little bit. But the goalkeeper transfer, I didn't have to do that. I should have instantly went with Raya, who got points even in Man City game. So this was extremely unlucky to end up with the only 4 or 3 points for my defense. But enough yapping about me. Also, speaking of, when we cover the transfers, potential moves for me and maybe your teams, I'll be talking about Mo Salah team. I'll be talking about Trent. This is actually Trent Alexander-Arnold team. And your favorite creators, let's see how they're getting on with their teams. But yeah, this is the tool that I like to watch, apart from watching the games themselves. Obviously, I had free time. I watched that Arsenal game. I watched pretty much every Premier League game except for, yeah, these fixtures were playing at the same time. Maybe West Ham and Ipswich I will not be able to watch. But this, like Brentford, West Ham, I watched at the start and then I saw that Mbeumo goal. And this is actually where I think my next transfer will be not the Cold Palmer, which I can't even afford unless I'm selling Salah without any hits. This is going to be Mbeumo, whom I couldn't get without taking any more hits. And the hit that I took at the last moment was to get rid of João Pedro, who was obviously injured, and to get in another attacking midfielder like Semenyo. And that's where, like, winger, I would say. And that's where Mbeumo is actually a player that I will be looking forward to get. Look, he's everywhere on the pitch. There is not like a... Yeah, this is a little bit sad. Obviously, Saka looks a little bit more appealing. But he is on corners. He is on free kicks. He also gets favorable fixtures. And everything goes through him. So, yeah, it is... Maybe I should consider this heat map to be a little bit of a disadvantage. But realistically, there's Carvalho, who is very attacking for Brentford, and he is a new player who is starting now because of so many injuries. And there's Shade, who is like a literal striker. But you can see that this team just is like a team of workaholics. Everyone is covering, like only Flecken is standing still. Yeah, Berg as well. Look, that's actually interesting. So yeah, this Berg player, Vanderberg, I think that's his full name, is actually an interesting player that you can get if you need a defender, because he's 4 million and he's starting, and it looks like he's starting in a position, let me see, yeah, he's starting in position of right wing back, and he's joining the attack a lot. So Vanderberg, I think that would be a very, very interesting acquisition. And if he's continuing to start, there are some injuries. I think Pinnock, Henry, all of them are now, yeah, the team is struggling, obviously. You're not expecting many goals, but if you're getting a player who can deliver you a good score, I think that would be Mbeumo, and that could be my transfer. And guess who am I selling? I think I'm selling Luis Diaz. Why? Because I feel like Luis Diaz is due a rest. He played 72 minutes against Wolves, didn't do anything. That was actually a little bit unfortunate, because I had Jota, and should I have left Jota in my team, maybe I would be better off. But it looks like Jota is going to be starting. It looks like Gakpo is going to be starting. Well, let me jinx that and let me now just... Yeah, you never know, bro. Like, it was the way the games are going fast and thick, and I think that's where Luis Diaz can be easily starting. But I think that's where he's going to be starting off the bench. And that's where I'm going to be trying to save some value. And I would even be taking a hit. I'm not impressed with Forest. I thought they were like a very solid team, but not scoring a single goal against Fulham at home was a little bit of a... yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate. The only thing that saved my game week, in addition to the hits that I've taken, is Mo Salah captaincy. I actually had a hunch that Haaland is going to be blanking. I think that Newcastle have set up very well defensive-wise. So that's where Mo Salah captaincy was a little bit more obvious for me, since there was like some rumors about the plague inside the Wolves camp. So that was very weird, and eventually it turned out to be yeah, quite a difficult game for Liverpool, but at least Mo Salah scored his penalty. And yeah, that's why you can never like trust all of this news and just like bet on the fact that it's gonna be changing drastically the entire setup. But the thing that's gonna be happening most likely is the Southampton manager can be sacked after getting completely battered by Arsenal, and I'm really scared. I'm gonna be watching that game from under the sofa. I'm hoping I'm jinxing Havertz and Saka so that they are not delivering more than like one assist and goal between them. And I hope that either Saliba or Gabriel, or preferably Saliba, who is actually very low owned, I hope that they're gonna be scoring goals for me then. And then Raya keeping a clean sheet, finally, for the love of God. And please don't get rotated as well, because that can be happening. Like, these players play 2 games a week now, Champions League midweek, and then at the weekend, Premier League game. I think there can be some rotation, and I'm kind of scared about this team. But look, I have Greaves, who is actually looking very interesting. There's also Liv Davis, another like a cheap asset who can help you score points from assists. And yeah, I can easily start him against West Ham away. Everton at home, I can be actually starting him without even like it's not a drill. Yeah, I'll be starting 4 million defender. And Faz against Southampton away, I may be actually tempted to start him as well because Leicester are not looking like Whipping Boys, and Whipping Boys, I think that's gonna be a very solid decision, and that's where I can be maybe benching Semenyo because playing at Arsenal away. This is where the fixtures for Semenyo are ending. This was like a short-term transfer. And speaking of other players that you may be getting and may be tempted to get, it would be Rico Lewis, and I think that's another trap where I guess where you're getting Rico Lewis, insane asset, but he already played a full 90 minutes game in a Champions League where he didn't have to. They didn't play an exceptional team. They've beaten them comfortably, and he still was on the pitch for all 90 minutes. So if you take a look at Manchester City, their fixtures, Bratislava 4-0, and he assisted there, but he played all 90 minutes. This is very scary. If you're owning Rico Lewis, he can be benched. Also, again, I can be jinxing that, but he was playing in a position of right back. But let's take a look at his chalkboard, which if you own Rico Lewis and he's starting, you're in, bro, like you're in for a treat, but I think that he can be actually not starting. Look at his position. Do you really think this is Saka, bro? This is literally what we've seen before. This is Saka positioning, but this is from a right back. So obviously, you would want to have a player like that. And this is where, because I think this is not correct. I think the match center is just showing 4 at the back. I think this is not correct. They actually changing into 3 at the back, and then Rico Lewis playing like an inverted fullback like Cancelo used to play, and Cancelo scored a lot of goals. You remember, if you played fantasy, I started playing 3 years ago, and in my first year I had Cancelo, and I didn't have Cancelo, and always he was scoring. And then people who knew, obviously, who were trying to like risk his pep roulette, they were getting Cancelo, and sometimes were in for a hole. I think I even captained Cancelo once. So this is where if Lewis starting, he's captaincy material. Obviously, Haaland is there, and he's going to be scoring goals and penalties. But Rico Lewis can be an interesting differential as a captain if he's starting. But I think since he played all 90 minutes, this is a trap, another trap just like Palmer. So speaking of other transfers, I think another player that is overlooked and many people are not really talking about him much is Ipswich Delap. And obviously they played... wait a second. They played a game against Aston Villa, and this is where he scored 2 goals, and I was like, damn, I didn't know that Ipswich has such a nice run of fixtures. So as you can see, they're playing against West Ham away, they are hosting Everton, they play against Brentford away, they play against Leicester, and then they play Tottenham, who aren't really known for keeping out of clean sheets, and then they play Nottingham Forest, Manchester United at home, Crystal Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves. Like, this is insane. That's like 10 fixtures which you can easily start an attacker from this team. And in fact, I think Delap can be entering my team just to save some value. I can be getting rid of Wood. I'm not going to be doing that for a hit, but Delap got both goals, got a yellow card, man of the match. But there is also some other. Hutchinson with the assist. Liv Davis, of course, is there. Greaves is like, look, Greaves is my center back, but Davis, I think, is more expensive, so you can't really... Yeah, if you have spare money, you can go for Davis. But this is where, for the heat maps, we can take a look at what Greaves is doing, and not even Greaves, like Liv Davis, I think. So let's take a look at Liv Davis. Yeah, this is crazy. So he was... I think that's for the corners. I don't know why is he there all the time. But this is where he's positioning. A lot of room to run into the channel and cross, and this is how I think he will be assisting for you in the future. And Delap, yeah, Delap's heat map is looking very similar to Mbeumo, and that is because they don't have a lot of possession in these games. Like, they don't dominate, and they shouldn't. But the fact that they played a very solid game and they drew to Aston Villa, team that defeated Bayern Munich, I think this goes to show that the Ipswich are going to be this dark horse team that can be showing results. They drew to Fulham, who are not bad. They obviously lost to Man City away, and that was devastating loss. But Southampton away, 1-1. They drew to Brighton. Look at these draws, man. They're accumulating draws, and they're about to explode. And this run of fixtures, I am really tempted, and I just wish I had more transfers. And this is my, like, I mean, probably a chaotic, hectic decision, last-minute decision to play that wildcard. If I didn't do that, I would have played it this week, and I probably would have been like on 35 points anyway, but at least I would have had like 2-3 free transfers left. Now I don't have these transfers, and this is how my team looks like. I think I'm gonna be placing Greaves first bench order, although Faz at home to Bournemouth. I think Semenyo still maybe scoring a goal or two, or assisting maybe, and that's my hope, because after that I will be benching him most likely. My transfer also, look, there is a Tottenham situation as well, where you can get Madison, you can get Kulusevski, you can get Brennan Johnson. For attack you can get Dominic Solanke. And this is where I don't have the money and transfers. I don't have the facilities for that big man. And I think if I'm selling Luis Diaz, it could be for Mbeumo, or maybe a last-minute decision. Like Madison created the most big chances in the league. Like he's second in the league. Can you imagine that? And he didn't return. So eventually, like these variants should be going your way. If you get Madison, I think you will be rewarded for that. So there are so many ways you can go around with the team. I will be making a transfer. I'll not be doing it right now. I don't think that the players are dropping in price for me that I want to get rid of. In fact, Luis Diaz just rose in price. People don't anticipate what's about to happen, man. I think the slot roulette about to happen. And that's where I think it's time to say goodbye to Luis Diaz. We earned some nice cash on him. I can sell him for 7.9. That means that I got him for 7.6, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. I'm earning money in game at least, not in real life. I will take it. So yeah, let's take a look at the teams of other fantasy Premier League players, real players who are running fantasy teams, and maybe also your favorite creator. So this is Mo Salah, 60 points. He was playing around. He played a free hit chip, wild card, whatever. He doesn't know what he's doing necessarily, but what he's doing all the time is captaining himself. And this is where we can tell actually that he knows more than us about the team. So he had Diego Jota as a starter and Robertson, not Trent, but I think that's only to facilitate other transfers. And he had Son. I think he even started Son, but he obviously is injured. He can't play. And Son, by the way, another viable pick in fantasy, but it looks like he's not going to be getting a lot of playtime because he's recovering from, I reckon it was a hamstring injury. And then Trent's team is looking like this, 65 points also. An insane rank. Like, I'm telling you, there are so many your favorite creators that we're gonna be reviewing their teams now, and yours truly, bro. Like, I'm not even in 1 million anymore. Top 1 million for Trent. Insane holes for defense. This is rare, and he has Robinson, Gvardiol, and Harwood Bellis returning, and Mo Salah as a captain, of course, has himself in his team. There are rumors. Like, look, this is actually a little bit worrying. There are rumors that Trent is about to leave to Real Madrid, and that can happen as soon as this winter. And there are rumors that Salah can be changing his team. And yeah, if that is happening, and Van Dijk as well, if that is happening, if the team is falling apart, anticipating that, and maybe Trent is not there fully, I don't know, man. If that is the case, if I see a drop off in his performances, despite a good run of fixtures after that Arsenal game, I think I may even be just getting rid of him even earlier than that. Besides, I can save some money. Maybe people are doing that as is, but I think that Real Madrid, right thinking, maybe keeping himself fit and not going into like 50-50 challenges, not really pushing it and playing like, because he knows that if Real Madrid are after him, they know his level. So this is the drop off happens for many professional footballers. I've seen that before, and if that happens, I may be getting rid of him as soon as like next or the game week after that. And but still, it's nice to see that he is running his fantasy and following it closely. This Andy Robertson, who's changed name team, has a Nick Pope who is apparently injured. By the way, I didn't know that. Knee injury. Okay. Wow, that's actually, I have him in one of my teams in premium fantasy games. This is not bad though, and he is 3 million rank, very solid. Now let's take a look at Diogo Jota, not Silva. 100 and, well, no, wait, no. He had Palmer. No, how did he achieve that actually? Insane. Diogo Jota take a bow, 102 points in a game week where everyone had struggled to score 40, and he is 100,000 rank. And this is real Diogo Jota because they're playing the same mini league, and he's number one in all of these mini leagues. He has Robinson 7-pointers benched, but I think he doesn't mind because he has Colt Palmer, Martinelli insane punt on Martinelli. Nicholas Jackson, Rogers, everyone returning, and this is where Mbeumo is gonna be probably my move in. Then I want to be like Diogo Jota in fantasy, man. This is crazy. And Conor Bradley, another right back, yes, and he's actually maybe looking forward to Trent leaving because that's gonna be a lot of playtime for him, allegedly. And he has also, like, all these Liverpool boys have a very good rank, and Salah needs to start picking up pace as well. Diego Dalot, Mo Salah as interesting picks, not Darwin as well, crazy. He knows something, you see, they bring in Darwin, so they assume that he's gonna be getting a run of fixtures in Prem, so maybe Darwin is starting as a center forward. Then we have Gakpo on the left, and on the right is gonna be Mo Salah. If I am correct, you owe me to drop a like. So the games start tomorrow, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that attack trio of attackers for Liverpool. This just looking at these teams is actually like helping you get this maybe idea of what is happening inside the team, inside the camp, because you can't really use your transfers to get rid of Darwin Núñez and exchange him with Gakpo or Diego Jota every week. This may be a long run for Darwin Núñez, predicted. James Justin, this is hilarious, by the way. So James Justin plays double Arsenal defense, benches himself and scores 12 points. This is FPL heritage, and yeah, I mean, obviously he's happy for scoring goals. His team didn't even get a point, so at least play yourself, man. Just believe in yourself. Nah, James Justin needs to get the same trust in himself as Mo Salah does. And there is Reece James, who performed very well last year round, and this is where I think kind of still plays. He made a transfer, but this team is not looking good. How come? Oh, wait a minute. That's game week 5. My bad. Game week 6. He played a transfer. He captained Salah. That's a solid team. Unfortunately, with the defensive points, of course, like with everyone. But this is Newcastle player Anthony Gordon, who actually scored a goal, and he has himself in fantasy, of course. He scored a goal that was a penalty against City, got some bonus points. Has Bernardo, but no Haaland. And Haaland didn't score anything, and he captained Salah. Very wise decision. He gets a lot of points this game week, and he has a 5 million rank, not too shabby at all. And then we see this is Joe Willock. For game week 6, he scored 41 points, and he got some hit. Got a hit, and I think that's like a small red arrow, nothing really tragic. And he's got a lot of differentials, including Sancho, and his captain is Haaland, blanking like for many of you. And there you go. This is getting into territory of people who play this game and are known for other things, like singing. This is Stormzy. He gets 68 points on wildcard, and this is actually very nice. He captains Salah. His rank is maybe not that impressive, but this game week, he definitely gained a lot of rank, because many people scored below 50 points, as you can see, on average. And many fantasy creators scored like 30 at best. And this is KSI. Actually, a very solid start for KSI. He gets better rank than me, so that's commendable already. Game week 6, you go, girl. This is 51 points, and he's, yeah. This is where it's annoying to concede to Wolves at home and having like double Wolves defense. But you see Wolves defense, judging by the points, very tragic, man. And there is captaincy on Mo Salah, very wise as well. And let's take a look at James Alcott. This 58 points, and his rank is very solid as well. And this is FPL Raptor. Now speaking about fantasy creators, where they mostly underperformed, but Raptor, who underperformed in the previous weeks, he didn't use his wildcard, and that was actually a very good decision. So this is where he gets some points from Salah. He gets Watkins, Hall, Rogers, Pedro Porro. This is nice. This is nice, and his rank is improving. 2 million. It's not that bad, given that he didn't own Haaland for a long time. And this is Oscar. I think Oscar's rank is now about the same as Raptors, but Ross is about to play a wildcard, and Oscar did that already. He has a good setup already, but obviously maybe right now he wouldn't be getting Semenyo on that wildcard, because a run of fixtures there is very scary for Bournemouth. They can still score goals, you never know. And he benching Rogers. This is a little bit backfired, but yeah, it's still nothing too tragic. And this is Harry Daniels with 38 points on a wildcard, and he is known to be very, very good at this game. He has fantastic rank history in the previous seasons. And I mean, his subscriber following total, and yeah, it just shows that people know that he is good at the game. I think he's going to be recovering from that. 38 points is a little bit underwhelming. But the team looks nice. The setup is great. He may be making some transfers. I watched his videos. He also was talking about Luis Diaz potential benching. I'm almost positive it's going to be happening. He said something like 70-30. So yeah, let's see about that. And that's Andy from Let's Talk Fantasy Premier League. 33 points for him again. Underwhelming wildcard. So this wildcard template failed, but it doesn't mean that in the long run these players won't be delivering. So this is where I think we will be getting more points from these cards, these players in the future. This is where we're talking about Faber Bourge, a well-known fantasy player. Just I don't know. It's just like he's considered to be a legend of the game. I'm not debating that at all, but his rank is a little bit underwhelming, so he better come up with something. Obviously, having Bruno Fernandes just like Andy from Let's Talk FPL, it's just so annoying. Like, he promised he knows about fantasy. He promised he's about to score goals, and he's not delivering on his promise. Really annoying, but getting a red card. Also, by the way, not deserved at all. It's just like a dagger, bro. Like, it's just like, why? So, but he gets the Villa boys, and he gets the returns there at least. 35 points, and I think he has a few transfers saved. And finally, we talk about Ben Karelin, who is a visionary, who is one of those few people who was like a 3-4 million rank a few game weeks ago, and now he brings in Palmer and instantly rank. Like, this is a visionary move. I think just because Ben Karelin has been playing for ages, he just picks a differential, has no Salah, no Haaland, and somehow he gets a rank gain, and he just is not afraid to go different, at least for a patch of games here. Gets Vardy, who is blanking 2 games in a row. I think his wildcard, he played it like 2 games ago. Yeah. So this is where 54 points on this wildcard was a little bit underwhelming. And, I mean, it's still nice. Kevin Palmer, of course, is nice. And Nottingham Forest picture is still very juicy. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope I score more points than you and jinxing all of your players, except for those that we share. Let's see what's gonna let's see what the future holds for our teams, and I'll see you next time. Peace.